morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
Thank God it's Friday.
TGIF, everybody. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, simulcast across the plane to various other places. Let's say hello to the two very good friends and co-hosts joining me this morning, starting off with one Mr. Walter Johnson, also known as Flat Earth Head, here on the YouTubes. Walter, how has your week been, sir?
Hi, good morning, Fiat Lux, everyone. Thank you, Josh. Good morning, Zach. I am doing good. Still waking up. It's been an interesting week. I've had a few things happening. I got some new pedals for my guitar, so that's been a lot of what I've been doing. Waka, waka, waka. That's what I've been doing. Play with my new stuff. Oh, wait, let me get a promo. Morley, get yours today. All right, maybe I'll get a free one now. But yeah, I've been playing with all the new stuff, trying to get the sound right. I found out that the amp setup I have is not conducive to effects pedals. Didn't know that going in. So I'm having to do some routing and external speakering, and I don't have an effects loop. And if you're a guitar player, you know, that really sucks, especially when your amp has effects loop written in paint from the factory. You would think, oh, that's where the effects loop is. No, it's trick. It's all a trick. But we'll geek out on guitar another time. But yeah, it's been an interesting week for sure. Lots of interesting things going on, family-wise. Lots of interesting things going on. Energy-wise, things seem to have like lessened a bit as far as the energy I've been feeling personally, but now it seems like everybody else has lost their mind and kind of going crazy. So I don't know. We'll shut me up and discuss that more here in a few. But yeah, it's been a week. How are you all, Zachary Zabala? I know you. You're on YouTube. Hey. Good times for all.
Hey there, Walt. Hey, Josh. Hello, everybody out there. TFR land. Yeah, good week. I've been getting ready for the show Saturday. I've been really hitting the Searle generator and researching it. And man, that thing is amazing. It's just, yeah, Lucas has been getting it. I've been sharing videos with him about it. He's been getting pumped up. He's like, man, this thing is awesome. I want one. It's like, yeah, I want one too. But yeah, if you guys don't know what the Searle generator is, you gotta look into this thing. I'm sorry, I'm still tired. It's too early for a Zach rant. Yeah, good week. Got a lot of painting done. The cabinets are not fun to paint if you've never done it before. They're way different. The paint is different. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care for it too much.
No, nobody does. It's a big pain in the ass. It's almost easier just to get new cabinets.
But it's looking good. It's coming out good. They got that little shine to it, whatnot. The inside of the cabinet you have to paint it like 3 times because it just absorbs the paint. It just sucks it up like a sponge. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm learning. Every day, something new.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, my week's been
How
quiet.
was your week?
It's been quiet. Not much going on. Did not want to wake up this morning. We are dog sitting my wife's boss's dog, which makes my dogs even needier, which is saying something given that they're pretty much up my butt all the time anyway. But
Is
my
that
little
the dog I met?
I think so. Layla, another black dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we need around here is another black dog.
Another black dog. That's awesome.
No, so Esme was kind of being needy this morning and climbed up in bed. And so we just snuggled for a little bit. I don't want to get out of bed. I think I'd much rather do this for 2 hours than go do a show. But then she got down, so I figured I guess now it's my turn to get up. So up I got dressed, made coffee, got ready.
I was just about to ask, isn't one of our listeners babysitting a dog right now, dog sitting? And I remembered, and there she is telling us about it in chat. Liz is also dog sitting. So it's been on my mind a lot this week.
Dog sitting?
A dog. Just a dog. I dreamed about it twice now over the last week.
That probably doesn't mean
so
anything.
Either one's heading my way or something's going on with dogs in my life right now. I don't know. They're definitely talking to me.
One thing I did notice that it seemed to be considerably less beer bug talk on the radio on my way to and from work.
Well, the election's over. I mean, we had to have a year of it leading in, and now that it's all over and they've got a new game to play, they can kind of, oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see.
What were you saying, Zach?
I just noticed that looking through, I go through Google every day just to look at the news articles. I don't go into too many of them, just the real stupid ones. But NASA hasn't been popping up as much lately, I've noticed. I mean, I used to get 5 or 6 a day. NASA, space.com, SpaceX articles, and the last couple days, I mean, when I woke up today, I finally found a couple. I was like, oh, wow, finally, here's some. But yeah, for some reason, NASA's been taking a back burner on the news, kind of, sort of. It's not as in your face every other article. Every other article I was getting was a NASA article. And it seems this last few days at least, they've been laying off, or at least promoting them to me. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but yeah, I noticed that I'm not getting
Well, I hadn't actually consciously noticed it, Zach. But after you said it as we were going in this morning, it kind of hit me. That's that's actually true, because as you say, most of the feeds we look at, even if we hadn't been looking for the space lettuce on a very, dedicated hunt, it just seemed to always be there. Shell was getting it, my son was getting it. Everybody was always getting these stories fed to their news feed to the point that they were sharing them with me, knowing I was looking for them. And she hasn't sent me one in a couple of weeks. I haven't actually seen one that was important enough feeling for me to actually pop it in the pile, except for those just little smattering there. You see, Josh and Zach, just not much going on that they're wanting to tell us about. Apparently, there's a lot more agendas they want to push. And so they're easing off of the space agenda for the moment. Although it would seem they're quickly replacing it with the fake alien agenda. I noticed another story come through today about the releasing of the CIA documents or whatever it is, which, 20 years ago, I'd have been chomping at the bits to read it and see what they had to say. And now it's just another distraction I could care less about or not even want to dedicate the time to, because it's just going to be more of their agenda and what they want us to believe, as we should know by now. I was trying to say hey,
Juliet.
Trying to say hey to everybody, and I just am completely failing. But I'll get you in a moment. I definitely will say hey to everyone in a moment. Sorry, Zach, go ahead.
I was just saying Julian Assange dumped all his stuff from WikiLeaks, and yeah, I haven't heard anybody talking about any of that stuff.
Isn't that why he was in trouble already for dumping everything?
Yeah, and the truther community isn't buying that stuff anymore.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, at this point, it even feels like mud flood is a distraction and been fed to us, as I notice it being discussed in some of the Twitter feeds that really normally don't discuss such things. I don't know. It just seems like there's I really don't even know how to say it. It seems like there's a push for distraction beyond the usual space crap, I guess. Maybe that's it. Maybe they realize we have just picked it apart and we're not falling for it no more, so they're just going to stop pushing it and start pushing these other agendas. They want us to be distracted. Yes, Rio, the squirrels secretly run the earth.
Yeah, I have to have Hank out while I work outside all the time just so I don't get attacked by squirrels. He's good. It's never happened. They've never even tried, but just in case, I always got him out there watching my back.
I just ignore them when they start talking.
You guys are going about this all wrong. You got to appease our masters. I mean, me and our birds, apparently, we could just give them all our bird seed. So we have fat, happy squirrels running around here. Too.
Yep.
Nope, nothing but fat, happy squirrels running around here. Then, of course, we've got the rare 1 in 10,000 black squirrel.
Wow.
Yeah, jet black with just a little white tuft on the end of his tail.
That is rare. Get a photo of one of those for me, friend. I don't think I've encountered one of those.
I most certainly did. I'll put it in the show chat right now.
Yeah, they're more common to see up north, I guess. Ohio, Indiana, northern Indiana, Wisconsin, northern Illinois. You see them around that area a little bit more. There's a place in Michigan City, Indiana. Now, this is probably just one of those things you hear, like a local tale or whatever. But someone had told me when I was younger, I was in my mid-20s maybe, 15 years ago, something like that. And they told me that they were genetically modifying the squirrels at Purdue University, and then they released them out into the wild, and that's why they were black. Because there was like a bunch of them in Michigan City. Like in this one area, it was just like you saw a lot of black squirrels. And now that I'm reading about it, they're saying it's like 1 in 10,000. It's just like a natural thing. But I don't ever remember seeing a black squirrel before going to Michigan City. And then there's like, it's not just one black squirrel in Michigan City. There was multiple black squirrels. So I couldn't find anything on it. I went looking for it. See if Purdue had ever genetically tried to modify the squirrels to change their colors and this and that, and I couldn't find anything. So that was probably just BS.
Speaking of genetically modified, did I just read a story where they've added human DNA to pig DNA? And I saw the story. I just didn't read the story because I thought, again, space lettuce. Hadn't we already done that?
I thought.
I was trying to share the squirrel picture. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. I give up.
I thought we did
what I'm doing here. I'm having trouble. Something is definitely, I think it's because of my taskbar giving me trouble. It's doing tricks. I don't know what it's doing this morning. I must have changed the setting when I was looking for the key the other day when I turned my keyboard off. So if you're ever typing away and suddenly your keyboard just stops working and you have a wireless keyboard, you go change batteries and click, 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 still nothing. And change batteries again, click, 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 still nothing. Your mouse is working, your window key is working, your music key is working, but no typey. Check your filter key setting over in the bottom right corner where the little things show you like your mouse and all that stuff. Check your filter key settings. What that is apparently is a reason we don't get why they would have such a thing, but apparently you can hit I think it was the number lock. If you hold it down for 2 seconds, It makes your keys super sticky.
I thought it was the right shift.
Was it right shift? See, I don't remember what it was now, so I'll go look it up and find out. So you guys don't do it, because we literally, it took 5 of us to work it out and figure out how to get my keys working again. They were working. It was just you had to hold them down for.
Had never heard of this.
Ever, right. We broke Jaren's brain, and he is the computer wizard, so it was interesting. So filter keys.
The right shift key you have to hold for 8 seconds. So you must have set your hand down on it.
Or I may have set something on it. I do that off because I'll be.
But 8 seconds. You have to hold it for 8 seconds. Don't ever hold any of your keys for 8 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah, it'll mess everything all up.
Indeed. Well, before we hit this first break that we're quickly going upon, I would like to say hello to everyone there in chat. I see our buddy Liz, the Iron Maiden, is there. Hungry Billy Bruce. I have a suspicion that might be somebody else that we all know and love, but we'll figure that out as well. Rio is here talking about glow-in-the-dark monkeys. Sorry, I love it. I love glow-in-the-dark. Hey, did I tell you my pedal glows in the dark? Anyway, Ryan Eartherton. Man, I'm bad at this. Vertec is here. Diva is here. Good morning. Lucas is in chat. That's interesting. We'll discuss that here in a minute. A little confusion on our part. Oh, man, we're so bad at all this. Did I say hey to Diva? I did. Did I say hey to Vorney? I did not. Good morning. Glad you're here. Alan, the Alan Holman, line producer extraordinaire, actively working to get us a new guest, which I have reached out. She reached out to me. Thank you, Alan. Answered her, and we are working out a time frame, scheduling wise, to get her in here. Also, give us a little time to go over the site, little of the information, so we're not going in just completely clueless. I hate doing that with a guest, so that'll give me a little bit of time to look into it. It felt a little bit like something I've looked into before, so hopefully have some common ground to discuss it with her. But thank you, truly, Alan. It's like helpful beyond words, man. I missed somebody I know. Did I say hey to DC? Good morning, DC. I don't know if I missed anybody else. I missed somebody. I'm sorry. Ben Flat's here. I do see you. I'm just scrolling. It sounds good. Good radio when you hear the sound. It's good stuff. Jason Jones was here quite early. Thank you for being here, friend. If I missed anybody else, Steve, I guess I got everybody. I'll scroll back through in a little while and miss somebody else, I'm sure.
Shout out to Mike D. Just showed up in chat.
There you go. You're at the bottom. I'm at the top. Hello, Mike. Shout out to our missing friends. I know I got a little message yesterday from, well, I thought it was from Brian. Apparently it was from his nephew. I'm not really sure yet who it was from, but thank you for them. Oh, and thank all y'all for the birthday messages. I appreciate it. But yeah, definitely. Shout out to Brian. He's been trying to get me into some of these Pokemon raids, and our time frame is just off. Usually by the time he sends them to me, I'm done for the day. And when I'm trying to find somebody to play with, he's not on. We got to get our timing right. We haven't done Poke News in a while. There's lots of crazy events right now. Tomorrow, Saturday, I believe. It's not Saturday, it's Sunday, is the Machop Community Day. I know Machop's already had a shiny day, but this is his actual community day, and there's going to be an awesome move, so get out there. Get them all. There's too much to even tell y'all what's going on. There's about to be a big, get all the 150 from the first region all at once in a big event. It's a kind of like a Go Fest. It's going to be worldwide. That's coming up soon in February, but the tickets, I think, are now getting close to not being on sale any longer. So go check that out. I don't know. That's about all the Poke stuff I have.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I just don't play like I used to. That's part of it. It used to be an obsession. They had me, the little demons in the box, but I just kind of got tired of chasing sprites and demons. So,
well, I've been getting a lot. I don't know what it is, but the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been hearing a lot about demons. For some reason, like demons of old that scientists believed in, Darwin, I think we talked about this Tuesday, Darwin had demons higher than humans on the evolutionary scale. Lucas and I were kind of chatting about this last night, about demons. And we were talking about that Searle generator, and all this came to him as a child in dreams, reoccurring dreams that he was having. And he built his first generator. He wasn't educated. He was 14 when he built his first model of this thing. But it was this dream that he had. You know, they say that's where they come to you. The demons come to you and like the muse and plant ideas into your brain. And I don't know. I don't know. Jerry Merzinski, the guy we had on, 29-year psychiatrist who wanted to work with schizophrenics, paranoid schizophrenics. And he believes, he wrote a book about it even, that these voices that these people are hearing are actual beings. They're not crazy. The voices all say the same things to all the people, and it's like another world out there that it's been hidden from us, pulled over our eyes. I mean, Jerry even said in his profession, he was told not to talk about the voices. You don't talk to them about them. You get them to try to ignore them. Well, Jerry didn't want to do that. Jerry wanted to know what the voices are saying. So yeah, he went out and, studied this for 3 decades and found that I think that these things are real beings. They have like a hierarchy system. They're real. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's something to all this stuff about, call them what you want, angels, demons, third or fourth dimensional beings, whatever you want to call them. I think they've been around forever, and they've been here. And yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere either. I think, it's part of this place.
DC in chat says demons are probably your natural dark side made to manifest, to allow you space to deal with them with less guilt, etc. Indeed, I would think that some of what we consider to be demons driving us to actions we would say we normally wouldn't be doing could definitely have to do with mental state. There are lots of internal demons. I hope you hear the air quotes. But the physical reality of external dark beings who interfere with our lives is most of the reason I'm sitting here talking to you guys. You've heard my story. I don't have to tell you about the demons and the worrying and the fighting and all the life of dealing with all of what I thought were aliens. And I've come to realize, as Zach just said, these are things that have been here forever, interacting with us in many ways, and not always detrimental ways, unless us advancing to the state we're in is a detrimental thing. Because I do believe that all these different times where advances in technology have come through, it's been a guiding hand. You just mentioned all the great minds who created all these great things for us, being guided and really deep into the demons. There's many talents. Crowley, that was his whole thing, was manifesting a demon who was teaching him how to do fucking witchcraft. So
Solomon and his ring.
Solomon with his seals. Be careful with those emojis.
Yeah, and looking into the history of it, they even have demons that their job was to change our history. While the scribes are writing it down, supposedly they would go in and like whisper in the scribe's ear and have him change words around, change all kinds of stuff. So, we talk about
Mandela.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is Mandela something where things are physically changing and, for some reason we don't know? Like, dimensions converging or something like that. I'm not sure if I buy that. Or is it these demons that have been changing things forever? And they have powers beyond our, it would be considered magic to us because we cannot comprehend the technology. I don't know.
And it always seems to be a thing where, well, I was going to say it's a search, a quest. Somebody's looking for a certain thing when this happens, I guess, when they're looking for secret knowledge or looking for the answer. But that's not always the case. Oh, and Dawn in chat saying, hello, Dawn. I'm glad you're here. Saying they have no power or authority unless you let them. And that's true to me with this whole realm. Everything that's going on is something we've allowed to happen. Now, it may not be something consciously that you're going, yeah, that's cool, let's do this right now. But before you got here, the agreements you made and the plans you made for your growth and all that, I think, play hugely into that idea that you have to agree to these things.
It's
that you
break time.
are a powerful being. Oh, wow, I'll shut up.
We'll see you right after this.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about, 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure.
And welcome back to the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio. Josh, Walt, and Zach hanging out. And we do have a guest joining us, but Skype being Skype may make things difficult. But we can give it a shot. We can say hello, see if Lucas is able to join us. Lucas, are you there, sir? Skype is muted, by the way. So you have to unmute Skype.
Yeah, that helps. It is, he's struggling though. He said he had some trouble last time he was trying to use Skype and his set, so. And we're not getting anything. So he had an option to work around it. That might be something to try, sir. I'm not sure. I know I was having some trouble with my external speakers yesterday or the day before, and I adjusted drivers to them, got a new set of drivers. Actually, it's an older set of drivers for it, and it works perfectly. So that might be the issue, too, if it was something that's continually happening with those headphones. I know my other set, the Razer headphone, had to have a specific driver just for it when I was using it. That's part of the reason I quit using it. It just seemed to be very proprietary and not really functional for what I needed. But anyway, yeah, try that maybe, too. Of course, I'm saying these things like I know what I'm talking about. This is all strictly me trying to work out all my problems. So.
I think we've got him. I think I can hear him.
Ah.
Hey, how you going?
Good morning, Lucas.
Dude.
Hey, what's up, Lucas?
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Skype, but Zoom works, but I don't know. I use the same setup, but it just doesn't work.
Oh, believe me, I know. Yeah. When you use Zoom and Skype for two different shows, you become keenly aware of the differences between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. I don't know. It's exact same setup, same everything. I even, press on the thing to use the interface and doesn't want to do it.
Oh, that's true. I forget. You probably have some kind of external thing going like Josh does, huh? A mixer or that plug-in or something that you use for your music.
Yeah, it's just like an input thing for the. It's just called an interface. So
right there you go.
Yeah,
I knew there was a word I was struggling with. Well, I know with him over the years we've had some issues trying to reroute and do some things with the sound just due to that extra link out, kind of an effects loop, if you will. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm sure this is exciting radio for everyone. So we got you here, and that's all that matters.
Too easy.
So how was your weekend? Your week? We saw you before the weekend, but I guess we could ask you about your weekend. How was your weekend?
Not too bad. It goes very quickly.
It definitely did.
But yeah, it's just been in the garden, and every chance I get back to the computer and try and do some more music. So that's about it.
So did you build a serial generator yet?
No, I'm still trying to work out what he's doing. The concept seems easy, but it's just like, well, how's it work though? What's the secret? Tell me the secret.
Yeah, I think there's something to spinning stuff around real fast. I think that's that gyroscopic effect. It causes weird stuff to happen, especially when you spinning magnets around and stuff. Yeah, it's next level technology stuff. It really is.
Yeah, for those that don't know, like this, what's his name? John Searle. He basically was, basically creating what you would know as a UFO. So, and that was what, in the 1950s?
In the 50s.
Yeah.
And is that the guy with the big wooden structure that you showed me, Zach? Mm-hmm. The name is ringing a bell.
Yeah, he built it out of balsa wood.
That's what I was thinking. That's crazy. Crazy.
That the structure could move at these speeds. And because all the engineers were telling him, oh, you're going to tear anything. You try to move that fast, it's just going to tear apart. It's going to shred it. He's like, no, when it creates this field around it that protects it. And nobody believed me. He's like, fine, I'll build it out of balsa wood then. You know, I'll show you that the stress is, we could definitely build these out of steel and they'd be fine. If balsa wood can handle the forces, yeah, I mean, comprehending what's going on there, that's like Lucas was saying. I have no clue. I have no idea what is actually taking place here. You know, we can see the effects that it does. For somehow, when he would turn on his motor, it would get to 4 degrees Kelvin, which is like,
that's nuts.
Yeah, 0 degrees Kelvin is negative 273 degrees Fahrenheit. It's where we have said that matter stops moving.
And I thought we couldn't really achieve that easily. I thought that was a difficult temperature to acquire for humans for some reason.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Even in the lab, it's hard to get things that cold.
Yeah. And him just turning on this generator for some reason creates this vortex where it just gets freezing cold and starts putting out crazy amounts of like static electricity, almost kind of like the moon. Freezing cold, really, really supercharged.
So if we're living inside of some type of electromagnetic engine, that might explain why the extremities of it are frickin' frozen.
Wow.
That might explain the frickin' Arctic Circle.
Oh my goodness, brain broken. All right, I'm gonna go away for a while now.
No, Zach's gonna have 2 weeks of sleepless nights.
That was great, Walt. Thank you.
That's why we put these brains together, because it always works more. It works more better that way.
Much more better.
Except for like all that grammar shit, and you know that. But hey, that's awesome. Yeah, that was like, to me, it was like, oh wow, so it makes cold. Well, let's take it further out. So, and I'm looking at the picture of the IGV, the what's he call it? There's a word, inverse gravity vehicle. And when I looked at it and saw the circular shape, it just suddenly went ding. So there we go. That's.
Yeah, and the governments want to tell you, you know, the UFOs, blah, we didn't know what that. He had FCC or whatever it's called, the FAA, whoever controls the air. They have numbers for his vehicles. Now, they weren't manned, so they were considered P-class. They were probes. But according to the FAA, they knew exactly what he was doing. They knew what his vehicles were, and they were documented. But the news would come out and say, oh, we saw a flying saucer flying over. And this was in the 50s, folks. He was making these things. And then all of a sudden, all these flying saucer, you know, viewings started happening. I mean,
but he was also running his workshop off the generator as well for free electricity.
Yeah, that's what got him thrown in prison. Yeah, the power company went after him finally.
Mm.
And yeah, he was getting a lot of funding to build these things. He was actually funded by 13 gentlemen, he said. I only saw one picture. They were all dressed in black. They all, you know, they look like the Men in Black almost. And they funded him, and his only stipulation was he was not allowed to commercialize it. And, you know, you're in your 20s. Someone comes and throws millions of dollars at you when you're a tinkerer and says, yeah, here, go crazy. Because he couldn't control the thing at first. Once it got to that over unity to where it was creating that much more power, putting it out than was going into it, the thing would just fly straight up into the sky and take off. They lost 8 of them. The first 8 that he built, they were only like 3 feet wide, a meter across. But he didn't even know what was going on. He could not control the thing. And once it got up to power, the thing would just shoot straight up into the sky and be gone forever. Never found again. So yeah, when these 13 other guys came up to him. This was from, he built the first 8 before he was contacted by these people. And then they contacted him and were like, hey, we're going to throw just buckets of money at you, just bucketfuls of money. You do whatever you have to do to get this thing to work, but you can't commercialize it. I would have taken that offer. I wouldn't have been, but you're going to let me play. And then I think once he got it to the point to where he, had it somewhat figured out, that's when they cut off all the funding and said, hey, we can take this over now. We don't need him anymore. He's pretty much shown us without telling us exactly how to do this. And now we don't need him. Yeah, it's one of those sad stories. It's a Tesla story. It's somebody who had vision beyond what the controllers wanted to allow.
And we hear this story too many times. There was a guy living in a town that I lived in a few years ago when I was in my early 20s, I guess, late teens, something like that. He had invented an engine that ran on water in a little town in Mississippi. Trying to remember his name now, and it's completely gone. Damn it. I'll find it and put a link
Is it
to it there.
the Geet engine?
That's the one.
What's his name?
I know, I'm trying to remember.
Cerrone?
Seems right. I'm gonna look it up here in just a minute, but he also had troubles, and it never got out there. I mean, obviously. There was a series of things early on when I was looking into Flat Earth that were the whole, because I kind of was going through that side door of free energy and looking at that stuff. And there were these videos going around at the time of police cruisers being filled up with water at a place away from town, and they were running these cars on water. The implication being that those in control don't need gasoline. They just go fill up with fucking water. Don't know how true that was. That was way back early on. I was digging for other things, and it was kind of an interesting side note that when I went back to look into it, couldn't find anything about it. If you guys know anything about it or have any information about that, let me know.
You get this, Walt. There's a guy sitting on the panel here who has built one of those engines.
Well, then I think we need to ask him how the hell to do it and get it out there.
Yeah, the video Lucas and I did on plasma, the power of plasma. We talk about the Geet motor, and he breaks it down and we broke into the schematics and everything. Yeah, it's a pretty simple engine, isn't it, Lucas? I mean, you can build it out of stuff down at your local hardware store.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty simple. I just done it out of, plumbing pipe and things like that. So, once you get the concept in your head, what it is, it's reasonably easy to put it together. And even, I don't know, a few years ago now, but I went down to the local mechanic and got him to weld up a few little bits and pieces and screwed it all together and tried it out. So it was basically a little petrol engine that I bought specifically for it, and then I hooked it up and ran it with fuel first, and then I thought, well, okay, so it works with fuel. That's a good start. And then I poured some water in there, and it kept running and ran even better. So after that, I'd put anything in it and just see. So.
Yeah, I've seen people running them on coffee, all kinds of stuff. Pea,
insanity.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, it actually sounded, it could idle lower than a normal engine, for that size, for the engine it was. Usually you get them idling and they're, running at a certain speed. But this one, once you got it right, and you could really get it to idle very slow. So that sort of indicated to me that it had more power, but it also would go off its nana as well if you got it going.
Like take off on you almost.
Yeah, because because of the way, you're using plumbing stuff, and it's not very, it's pretty crude how I was doing it. But basically, yeah, you couldn't, if you didn't get the vacuum and the fuel mixture right, it would just rev up and, so you had to keep playing with it. It was pretty loud too because it didn't have quite a muffler. So, but
They
yeah,
show all the guys. Sorry,
Yeah, go
ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say it shows the guys that are playing with these engines on who do demonstrations when they go to like cut the exhaust off or something. They really have to. You see one guy doing the exhaust and the other guy's messing with the air intake at the same time. So they have it like really fine tuned for when they have to do things, and you have to get that just right.
Yeah,
or else
that's
it's
right.
kind of like you said, it'll start idling hard and running rough and almost like shaking itself loose.
That's the biggest problem with it. It was if you had a lathe or a metal lathe or something like that to actually, really produce the parts you needed really well, you wouldn't have that problem. But since I was just using sort of hardware stuff, basically, yeah, if it wasn't as you couldn't get it to go where you wanted it exactly, you know what I mean? It couldn't sit in that prime position. But if you got it to idle right, it would just sit there and go right. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
mind blown.
one. Like you were saying, Walt, just more of that tech and it's not like it's new tech. I mean, the stuff that John Searle generator, this is super advanced technology to us, but it's like 70 years old now. And we still haven't seen it applied anywhere, at least openly. I'm sure there's Searle generators all over the place just for pumping out electricity, not even for flying devices, because it's an over unity machine. You put in so much electricity and you get more out of it. There's no friction. There's no grease involved. There's no, like, the maintenance upkeep is like nothing because none of the parts are really touching. And this stuff should be everywhere. It's been, developed almost 70 years ago. You would think this stuff would be out. The technology we're running on today is so old.
So, Lucas, how practical would you say these Geet engines are?
I think if you had, a decent shop that you could go to, manufacture some of the parts, you could, and, increase make the design a little bit better. Look, if you had a standalone generator, would be perfect. So once you got it set to the right idle, had the right amount of fuel, and were able to, govern all those different elements, then as a generator would be perfect for a house or something like that. So, yeah, that was my main aim, to actually, use it as, we'll see if it worked for one. And when I looked at it, I thought, oh, this thing seems legitimate to me. And then, yeah, secondarily, do it as a generator. But, it is finicky. Just the way I put it together was pretty rough. So, but if you had a bit of time and, done a few trials, definitely.
Something I just watched, it's trying to peek through now, that someone was manufacturing something themselves, and they were trying to do things with, like, they were using clay to create these. He was building a guitar. That's what it was. He was building a guitar out of epoxy and colored pencils, of all freaking things. And he was shape it out into these clay things, put the pencils in there like he wanted them in the color scheme he wanted, and then pour the epoxy in that, and he would shape these areas. Later, he would fill them with the clay. I don't know. The clay was integral to it. I don't know if that helps you in any way, but yeah, definitely. It just seemed like he can make little circular things and little pieces using the clay to make his molds. I guess it's kind of like what we used to do when we were making our own silicone molds for special effects and stuff at Halloween. I don't know. It just popped into my head. I'm trying to remember where I saw it now, and I'll drop you a link.
So what's going on out
definitely.
there?
Oh, yeah, go.
I was
Well, I
getting
just
ready to
definitely
change
think.
this up.
Yeah, I just think if people are interested in it, definitely try it out. Build one for themselves. Go for it.
I'm definitely interested. I'd be real curious.
I was going to say, dude, I'm pumped up. So we need to get like maybe this afternoon we can talk into some like details and
because I have
schematics.
access to a lathe and a machine shop and things, people that would be willing to help out with a little bit of this work. So I'd be real curious as to.
Oh wow, you do! I've been wanting a lathe and my own personal machine shop for years. I go in these phases where you just like, all of a sudden I'm like, I gotta have a lathe and just check my balance. Nah, maybe next time.
Not today. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are not cheap. I mean, even wood lathes aren't cheap, let alone the metal steel lathe. Wow.
Well, the fact that you got to this point without the fancy lathe and the fancy ways to make the perfect little pieces should show anybody, or anybody listening should hear the fact that you can do this shit. Don't just sit there and go, oh, I can't because I don't have a garage full of tools. I don't have the lathe. I don't have the molds or whatever. Just get in there and do it.
Yeah, all local stuff from your hardware store. And the schematics, you go check out the Power of Plasma that Lucas and I did. And the links are in the description to the, what is it called? The schematics. And it's not just like grab a pipe that's about this long. It tells you the exact pipes to buy, and all of it will be available at your local hardware store. So yeah, and they do it with lawnmower engines. They build these things. So go out and try it. I've been kind of in a tinkering mode. I've been tearing apart electronics. I tore apart a die-hard battery jumper for a car. For some reason, I had this weird feeling that I was going to get electrocuted. I think it was Wednesday. I was talking to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear, oh shit, bzzz, call Cammy.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I've been in the tinkering. Yeah, that's it.
Right, that's the one.
Let's call Cammy immediately when you
Well,
hear
we are
that.
quickly slamming into the top of the hour.
We are about 2.5 minutes left.
I see some people in chat asking, what are we building? We've been talking about Geet. How do you spell it? Is it G-E-E-T?
Yep.
Okay, so it's G-E-E-T. Look into that. Our guest currently, Lucas L.C. King, is apparently has already created one himself, and we're going to figure out a way to fine-tune it. It may not happen today on this show, but it is the topic we're talking about. We're also going to have, if he has the time to hang out with us this afternoon, Lucas as well. We had a little confusion with booking and times, and my apologies for not being more clear when I invited you in, sir. So I'm glad you had the time this morning, or for you, I guess, what is it, evening there?
Yep, it's nearly 10 o'clock at night.
See, I'm learning. I'll learn how you guys hang on upside down. We used to have Rob over there hanging out with us, so I'll get those Australian reflexes up to speed. But definitely come hang out with us again here in a few minutes. It's G-E-E-T, Urban Gorilla 66 MM in chat is clarifying. Yes, that is correct. There was something else in chat. Flat Accord Music apparently also saw the gentleman building the guitar that I saw, so he's looking for it for us as well. I'll get that link over to you as soon as I can with some help there in chat. Thank you all in chat for helping, for sure. Keep us on track. What else is coming up in the next hour, ladies and gentlemen? I guess just gentlemen.
Just real quick, I wanted to, Lucas, you'd brought up people talking about the Searle generator, saying it was, debunked and it's a joke and this and that. When I was just going through the Geet engine and I put in Geet E, and the first thing that popped up was Geet engine debunked. So yeah, you're always going to find the naysayers that say, "Oh, this is impossible." Blah blah. They probably work for Big Oil.
Debunked by Snopes, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, well I do hear the break music.
As do I. This is the Ironworks on True Frequency Radio. Josh, Walt, Zach, and Lucas hanging out with you this morning. We will be right back after these briefest of messages whilst the Geos pay some bills.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the Shebo virus.
Dark matter. Okay, we don't know. That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe that dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard, to think really hard.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And welcome back to the second half of the Ironworks on Truth Frequency Radio, simulcast across the plane, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, D-Live, all sorts of different places. Josh, Walt, Zach, and Lucas hanging out with you this morning, talking over unity and free energy and all kinds of good stuff. Things I was really into once upon a time. But I'm super interested to grab those schematics over off the Good Times for All channel over there on YouTube, and the Power of Plasma video. Not terribly old.
Interesting. Savage said he had trouble clicking into that video. A couple people actually told me.
Yeah.
When they clicked on it, it just said video unavailable, error 404. It didn't have the, not available in this country. There's no restrictions on the video. That's why I went ahead and did a premiere on it just a couple days later. It's weird. They don't do that to all my videos, but it seems when we speak about things like this, they don't give me a copyright claim or any of that nonsense. They just seem to turn it off almost. I mean, it was doing gangbusters that first 3 days that it was out, and then all of a sudden it was getting like 1/10 of the views. Just real quick. All of a sudden. And usually for the first, a week, you'll get about the same amount of views each day. It'll be more the first couple days, but then it like slowly dwindles off. This one just stopped, cut off. And it was the day that Savage told me, hey, I tried looking into that video and I couldn't find it. Yeah, weird. But I know it's not me in particular. I think it's the topic. Talking about, over unity, free energy. I'm almost guaranteeing that this weekend's video will do the same when we talk about the Searle generator. All these texts that have been out forever and, lots of people know about and have heard about, but the sheeple have never heard of any of this stuff. I was listening to a David Weiss interview yesterday, and one of the people on the panel was like, yeah, but we all know this stuff, like the government's lying and this and that, and they're lying about this, they're lying about that. Yeah, we know this stuff, but the average normie does not. They don't know about, the thing that happened in Connecticut and the thing that happened in New York and the thing that happened in Boston, all these things that we know about, these people do not know. So the normal person, people who have been looking into this stuff and are in this realm, we know all this is nonsense. But a normal person, you try telling them this stuff and they look at you like you're crazy. They do not know it. They may have heard it, but no, they know the government is, in their world, the government is there to help them. The government is there to make sure they're safe. Make sure their water's clean, their food is clean. They believe that. That's what they know. So we have to stay diligent and keep putting this stuff out with calm, rational sense and keep trying to shake these people out of their sleep.
And do what Lucas is doing by doing it. That's a great way to shut up the debunkers and to grab people's attention. Go out there and build yourself a little geet engine. Do it. Show them that it can be done. Put it on a little golf cart. Put it on a bicycle. Power your house.
Yeah, apply it to something.
Get out there on the side of the road and piss in the tank and take off down the road.
I remember when I had the plumber come around, and I'm telling him what I was doing, and he's just looking at me going, "Ah." And then, I started up. He was there when I started. I said, "You want to hang out and watch?" And then I put the water in there, and he's just sort of gobsmacked, So, yeah, it'll work. And he's still, asked about it years after. So, yeah, that's how you get the attention, definitely.
Yeah, you can give people schematics and tell them about things all day till the cows come home, and they'll walk away like, yeah, right. But that's why I love Walter Lewin, just showing you. Just show somebody, that video, even if it's live right there in front of them, just that image in their brain. They don't have to comprehend how it works, but they could see that it actually does happen that way. That's worth more than, a book right there. Yeah, you could tell somebody that's, comprehends the stuff, how something would work, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And they would comprehend it, but most people aren't like that. Most people go up to the device, hit the button to turn it on, and that's it. As long as it works, they're happy. They don't care how it works. So yeah, getting people to look into this stuff, like you said, hey, hang out. Come check this out. You want to see if it works? That's invaluable right there. And like you said, years later, he's still asking you about it. I bet he's told 100 people about that thing. Yeah, I know this guy.
Yeah, he probably has. Probably in the back of his mind, sort of sits there, and then just all these little bits of information just accumulate, and that's there may be one little thing that sets them off, and then all of a sudden, there's a moment of clarity, and then they can move forward from there. Definitely.
Yeah, it's that stepping stone to where you're like in. From wonder to knowing I don't know. I love that feeling.
I wonder how many times that poor mailman had to have that argument with himself. All right, how was I duped? How did that magician do it?
Yeah, how did he do that?
Surely it wasn't what I saw.
Tank.
Surely I was lied to somewhere. Somewhere he was fooling me, and he wasn't really running that water on engine on water. Yeah, I imagine throughout the years he's had to come back and have that whole discussion with himself once or twice. And I bet you Lucas has to win out at the end of the day every single time because he was there and he saw it. He looked at it, thought it was absolutely insane. As a plumber said, look, that's crazy. But then see it start up and run, I bet you that had such a huge impact. It was probably one of those literally shocking moments where your brain starts to shut down in portions and, your blood starts rushing to the extremities. You're ready for fight or flight. I bet you it's a whole physical reaction when you see something like that.
Yeah, that rocks your whole world right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start, it doesn't rock your world there. You also start thinking, what else are they lying about now?
Yep.
Because if this guy can do it,
that's the real point, isn't it? It's the questions that come after seeing something like that, or whatever it is. It's the questions that are really going to matter. What questions are you gonna ask after that, and what are the inevitable answers from those questions?
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, flat Earth is not really all that important. It's the questions you start asking yourself after you realize it. That's why I chose this topic. One, because they can't hide it. It's there. We stand on it. We live here. It's not one of these, false flag events where they can sweep all the evidence, the next day underneath the rug, ship it off to China or wherever, and we can't go through the rubble and investigate.
Right.
This they can't hide from us. And second, because this makes you start asking very serious questions. After it sinks in, then you start asking the real questions. The why. Why would they lie? The most important question. Why would they lie? Why are they lying to us? That's the question I want everybody to realize is a question.
And, especially when you're dealing with the flat earth, that question itself, there's multiple answers to it. It's not just one singular thing. It hides multiple different things at once. And like we've been delving into a little bit is this concept of free energy. So that is extremely, it's a part of it as well. And it's definitely something to think about, as it's just like the monetary system. It's just like all the rest of it. It's just they all tie in together. And flat Earth really does unravel so much of it.
It does. It is a Rorschach test, I think, for me, for a lot of people, and how they handle the information, handle the subject, the questions they ask. Even that one question is why. How they answer that question, how individual flat earthers answer that question, the why they do it, I think is a Rorschach test, and it allows you a sort of a glimpse into where they are on their journey. I think there's so many things about this subject that can just spin off into waking people up, or starting to wake people up, or furthering their waking up process. It's amazing out there, the changes this is bringing about, whether it's interpersonal to, inside yourselves, to how society is reacting to the term flat earth. I mean, again, it's hard to watch TV and find a show that doesn't make some sort of flat earth reference at this point, because there's so many of them out there that are doing it. It is mainstream at this point. It's still kind of, shunned upon, and it's definitely delegitimized, but there's not too many people out there who don't know that flat earth is a thing. And I think that says it in the few short years that we've been doing it, trying to make that happen. It's amazing. I'm still amazed that we've come as far as we have. I'm sure there are so many flat earthers out there that see how people are treated when they talk about it in public and just decide that it's not worth the hassle, and I will just be one of those closet flat earthers. I'll be a quiet flat earther. I'll know. I can go along to get along, but I'll know. And I think there's a lot of them out there.
It's an interesting path, I think, that some of us have been on, that have gone from the, I have got to find a soapbox, damn it, I'm sitting here talking to you guys, whatever, but it definitely has become something I'm not as militant about. Now, I love the folks that get out there and do the smacking. It just doesn't seem like my place. It never really was. The few times I did get out and do it in Lafayette, it just never felt like my wheelhouse at all. And I think it was more that whole idea of leading a horse to water, I can show it to them all day long until they're ready for it. It's just bouncing off deaf ears. So
that's it. You can lead a sheep to info, but you can't make them think.
Question in chat from Alexander Lightwater. Question: if truth seeker are lies existing only outside or also inside? I'm a little confused by the question, Alexander?
Well, Flight
What
Accord
else?
Music asked right after that, what made them they? He said that's his question. They did. It's a choice. They
Did they
chose.
really?
Well, I mean, they might have been, brainwashed from a very young age into thinking what they were doing was righteous and good and for the greater good of, mankind or whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But when it all comes down to it, we all have a choice. We do. And we have to fight with these internal demons every day. Do I do the right thing or do I do the wrong thing? We all know. We all have this intuition inside of us. Now, can they program that out of a human? I would like to think no, but I don't know. I've never tried it, never plan on it. That's not something I'm interested in. But they claim that they can. So but you still have a choice. That's the thing. That's that one thing that was given to us that no man, no woman, no one can take away from us. You have a choice. And if you choose to lie and deceive to gain money or a reputation or this or that, then you chose to be they.
See, I keep coming back around to the idea that we are here to smelt, if you will, ourselves, to refine ourselves, to create the better version of our true spirit-bound self. And the choices in this realm reflect that, because it goes back to that biological thing of something, germ, bacteria, whatever. It's in a pool of water. It's getting all its needs met. Everything is good. It's happy. Everything is working. It has no predators. It's just content. So it's going to stay just like that. That balance that you talked about, Zach, that nature is always looking for. If it's all in balance, then there's no need to adjust one way or the other. There's no need to search outside of that pool. There's no need to defend against a predator. There's no need to evolve thinking to get outside of a situation you're in. So I think they're us, and we just chose a different reflection of ourselves to work against. Because if there's no black, you don't get white. If there's no wrong, you don't get right. And if there's no bad, you don't get good. So I think it's just different facets of us to reflect off of all these different ways of being fucked up so that we can figure out the way not to be so fucked up. I don't know. I'm just rambling, I guess, at this point.
I know there's some song lyrics in there somewhere.
Is that it? Am I writing a song? Where's my wah pedal? Damn it, I saw it. Thank you, Alan. Alan, heading to bed. We appreciate all the help, sir. Thank you for the production help, and I will definitely get in touch with your friend soon, and we'll get that lined up. Have a good night, sir, or good morning, or however you term it. Fiat Lux, I guess.
Yeah, I think they have their carburetors set just a little bit differently than the rest of us. I mean, information is information, but it's what you do with it sort of that defines who you are. And I think you can take information and do bad things with it, and take information and do good things with it. Information can be good and information can be bad. And we've all got that little carburetor inside of us that helps to govern that mixture, because I don't think anybody's all of one or all of the other. So it's just a matter of how you set that carburetor and what you do with that information. I'm sure you can walk a fine line and make billions and billions of dollars and become the richest man in history. And again, just a matter of how you use that information. But I think, like I said on Tuesday, I would rather not try these get rich quick schemes. I don't think there's anything of value in hoarding Federal Reserve notes. My mom is a hoarder. I suffer from the gene. I battle that demon every once in a while. But I know there's nothing good to come of hoarding dollars. Makes no sense. It's a mental disorder. The richest man on the planet is obviously not stable. There's no reason to hoard all of that nothingness. Sorry, now I'm rambling.
No, keep going. I love it.
No, it was on point for damn sure. Well, yeah, if you look at it that way. I mean, dude, come on.
See, he's so much more articulate than I am.
In just a couple words, you can say what we all said. Thank you, Stephen. Now, it's okay, good, he's gone. That might have been our first time that he didn't lose it.
Well, I mean, I don't think he had too much to argue with. I think he just likes to come in, wrap it all up in a nice, succinct little bow, and roll on out, so to speak.
Yeah, we're hoping to have Stephen on here one of these days. We're working on it. I like the way he talks.
I like the way he talks.
Officially off the rails, folks. I love it.
We've got about 4 minutes left till we hit our third and final break.
Damn sure do.
Well, I wanted to touch on something just real quick. I think it's so ridiculous, but there is a marijuana activist group, all right, who is pushing for a free bag of marijuana with your COVID-19 vaccine. No joke. This is headline news. You can go look it up right now on Google. They're trying to coax you into getting your vaccine with a free bag of weed. Sorry, folks. I would rather quit today, right now, this second, and get a vaccine. So, no, it ain't going to work.
I've never smoked something that good to make me want to get a vaccine for it. So.
I mean, David was talking about one of his buddies that used 2 Bitcoin to buy a bag of pot back in the day, and now he's kicking himself in the ass. You know, I would rather do that than get a vaccine and get a free bag of pot. Both of them free. If they're offering you something, take something, then you're the mark.
Right. On a real question, didn't I hear talk at the end of last year, or end of their year last year, of if you didn't get your prick, you didn't get your check, like the stimulus money. That was what they were speaking about, that would be the incentive. You would get your big payoff if you went and got your stuck, if you got stuck. So then suddenly the new year rolls around, their new year rolls around, and everybody gets $600, or some folks did. So I don't know what happened to that, where it went, why it was off the table, and suddenly everybody got paid. I guess that was, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to care the details, but definitely it seemed like what they would pull, and then it went away. So I don't know.
I think they have something similar in Australia.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they have maybe legislation or something like that. But, you know, I have heard this sort of like saying no jab, no play or something like that. So, it wouldn't surprise me if there's more than one of those sort of
well, another
sort of
bad side note to this whole thing, I saw at least 3 videos going through my Twitter feed, 2 of which I was able to save before they disappeared, of people who had received their inoculation and were now having a serious palsy, uncontrollable shaking, jittering, jerking, really bad. So, you know, take the info, roll it around in your head, and make your own decisions, I suppose. But this could be the go down fighting time when they start bringing needles my way. For damn sure, it ain't happening.
This stupid ass article. If you believe the science that supports medical cannabis, you should believe the science that supports the efficacy of the vaccine. Fucking dumbass.
Oh my God. Okay. Freshwater squid in chat brought up something that we will talk about on the next segment.
Yeah, I just dropped that article in chat, folks. Go check it out.
And that'll bring us to the fourth and final segment of the Ironworks, coming up after these brief messages. Zach, Lucas, Walt, Josh, hanging out, having a good old time here on the Ironworks, as we do. More to come.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tack, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky, they all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and there's lawyers and business executives and they're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry. They all have pretty children. The children go to school and the children go to summer camp and then to the university where they are put in boxes. They come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in boxes made of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same.
the iron you need to get what you want.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement. So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
All right. Enough.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
We thought, yeah, we should have known it was too good on the other segment.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, sorry guys. Welcome back. It's the Ironworks here with Steven, Obby, Josh, and Zach, and Walt, and we have our friend Lucas with us as well. If you're not familiar with LC King's channel here on YouTube or there on YouTube, go check it out. I'll drop the link here in a minute. Man, there was something in chat. Where is it? Oh, it was Tommy. Hello, Tommy. Thank you, sir. He dropped us some cool sunglasses this morning for a super chat, and definitely with minds like this at work, the future is so clear. Well, maybe it's not so clear, but we probably still need the sunglasses. Anyway, I'll shut up. I see a lot of powerful river people in chat as well. Bridge folks like myself. We're not going to get into that on the air, but in chat, enjoy that. I also swam in the Mississippi River as a child, which is not a safe thing to do. Jeff Buckley comes to mind. Oh, and damn it, where is the, let me look for something. 1 second. You're so funny.
I got all these
So what's
buttons.
the weather like out there, Lucas, on the edge?
It was hot for a little while, like it was almost summer, and then it's gone cold again. So it's like we haven't had a summer whatsoever. It's been pretty strange.
We're in the midst of some kind of polar vortex thing here in the States, which is causing things to do that, or that's what they're telling us. It's causing it to be quite the, roller coaster ride up and down, cold one day, hot the next. I was wearing shorts yesterday afternoon.
It's a pole flip.
That's it. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yep. They're shifting.
I've never measured the magnetic pole. They say it moves and this and that throughout the year. You know, you can have declination and whatnot, but I've never set up. I tried, but the thing is, houses shift. What doesn't shift on the Earth? What you'd almost have to hang it from nothing, like in the air. Because what on Earth doesn't?
Air shifts greatly, sir.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean, though. Like, just set it there in space, like a gyroscope, keeping its rigidity in space. That would, ooh, that's an idea. All right, I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, just being able to, because they say the magnetic declination from your point will move throughout the year, you know, as the magnetic pole does its circle. Or they say, you know, to be here at this time and then it's over here and this throughout the year. It makes like a big loop. Well, I've never measured that to know if that happens for sure or not.
Didn't they say that didn't they have to change the maps and things every so often because of this
Yeah,
magnetic
runways
sort of
even.
change?
They have to change the names of the runways because they're all set on certain longitude, latitude angles. And yeah, when they shift so far, they've actually had to rename the runways because they're no longer on this, you know, angle. They're more at this angle now. So, something's, whether it be the magnetic field or I don't know, or the ground just, you know, the ground rises and there's all kinds of stuff going on underneath our feet. The crystals are growing.
all
And
the time.
yeah,
My
that's what I'm
brother
saying. So where do I put a compass to measure the movement? Where is the ground not going to move for sure?
Where's your like
Yeah,
point
my
of reference that's
my
not going to
yeah.
move as well? Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no control for sure. My brother, that was one of the early things that kind of almost got him hooked in a little bit, is on his trip to work every day, there's a certain sign that he sees every day, and he can see Mount Hood through it or below it or sometimes almost above it. And that really kind of was messing him up because he didn't think the atmosphere would be able to do that much movement, you know. And then we started talking about floating land masses on a big pool of water and things like that, and it never did click for him. So real quick side note before it gets too far, I'm playing catch up in chat as I usually am, trying to keep up with you guys, and it's just amazing stuff that's going on. If you guys are here in our chat and not participating, you should be. And if you're not if you're listening and not participating, you definitely should be. There's lots of ideas going around. Apparently, according to Tommy, South Carolina has introduced a bill to teach flat earth in school. Now flat earth must be given equal time as the globe. Is this true?
What?
Oh, please, sir, if you can confirm that with a link to us so I can read it here, I would be eternally grateful. That's amazing.
I'd love to see who proposed that legislation.
Yes. If you're not familiar with That Flat Fellow channel here as well on YouTube, or there on YouTube, we are on TFR as well. If you are confused, as I am, obviously, go listen to Tommy's stuff. It's amazing.
Wasn't Tommy wrenched? Is that?
We're trying to get all that straight again. It was, it's one of those things. It's a slow process.
Okay. Yeah, he's saying he'll post a link. He just
Yeah, I'm saying it and realizing right, it's not clear. And as far as the wrench thing, we had another thing that we had to clear it out, and we're slowly but surely getting some out there. We just don't want to, a room full of wrenches. It kind of frightens off the normies when they see all that power in one place. So I will get you straight here in just a second, sir. You guys talk while I play behind the scenes.
They have to give it equal time. That's awesome. Now, hopefully it will be, I doubt it will be at first, but at least it's being given time. But you would hope that they would look at it from our point of view as a whole, instead of like the Flat Earth Society's point of view as a disk floating around in space with other circular planets going around the sun. That's absolutely not what at least any flat earther I know or have spoken to or have heard. Nobody believes that. That's utter nonsense. That's there to make you look away.
Well, herein lies the problem. I think that we've had since the beginning of this whole thing is how do you come up with any sort of lesson plan for the flat earth? How are you going to agree on the things to say? I mean, as a community, we can't seem to come together.
Touche.
I'd just be real curious what that rubric looks like.
Yeah, I would like to see it myself, sir. Definitely time me get it. I'm trying to get things. It's going to break me. I'm so sorry. I've got new computer issues and don't have all the passwords saved and all that because I'm trying not to get all that new stuff out there in the world with all this less security on this computer or more security, less openness. I don't know. Anyway, are we getting the links?
Well, you could definitely do some. You could definitely do some practical experiments. Get the cameras out with the kids and, see how far they can see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we should go. I don't think we necessarily need flat earth to get equal time, mainly because I don't know that we'd be able to come together in any sort of agreement. I think what it needs is the question of what they're being taught mainstream. Here's what the story we're going to tell you is, and here's people that are questioning it, and here's the questions that they have. And here's why they have those questions. Again, we don't need to make any claims saying this is what it is. I think just being able to allow those kids to expand their brain enough to question the things that are being presented would be huge for me. They say it's 25,000 miles around at the equator, and you can only see 3.5 miles out. Here's something that's interesting. Look through the camera. How far can you see? So why is it we just assume that it's a sphere? And regardless of where they go from there, even if they go on to try to debunk every little thing and get some weird atmospheric conditions, 7/6R that comes up and see your own ass if you high enough up, whatever it is. I think that just showing them that there are people out there that don't accept those answers is going to do wonders for the entire rest of their education. Like forever till they die, because we're always learning. But teaching your brain how to look at things in such a way as to question what you're told is a habit that too few people have, I think. They all just take it in.
They really took that out of schools, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. They did. That's the trivium. That's the quadrivium. That's the teaching of how to be a human. Here's how to be a person. Now, public schools, here's how to be a citizen. Here's how to be a nice.
Yeah, and that was the Hermetic arts, really. A lot of that. The quadrivium, the trivium, those principles and fundamentals. As soon as they got rid of them, then things went definitely downhill from there.
Yeah, I'm looking at an article right now. It's from National Center for Science Education, Equal Time for Flat Earth Science. At the top of the page, though, it says winter 1981. And then I don't find anything else about, it is about South Carolina, a gentleman named Paul E.L.L. Wenger, W-A-N-G-E-R, L. Wenger. So I haven't confirmed that this is the one time he's talking about. I saw 1981, but it's not really. I went down to the bill. It has no bill number, introduced by, nothing, date, no date. But I did find an article, and it's talking about some of the things that they would like to be mentioned. And page 39 goes into like things that need to be taught about the flat earth. The earth floats on the waters of the great deep, and there is fire below those waters. The Earth is covered by a dome, which also rests on the waters. The sun and moon are 32 miles in diameter and circle the region of the equator at an altitude of about 1,500 miles. Don't know where they're coming up with that. Eclipses of the moon are caused by an unseen dark body passing in front of it. And the Earth and universe were created about 4004 BC. So I don't agree with a lot of that stuff. But
Where's this article? I'm still playing catch up here. I'm so doing too many things at once.
Yeah, I'll throw it in here in a sec.
We finally got Tommy straight, and he dropped an amazing folder with some great maps. I'm a map fan myself, sir. That was one of my early gets, is lots of early maps that you are hard to find now. I'll drop those links here in a little while if I can find my links. They're so, my drive is such a cluttered mess. But yeah, thank you, sir. All right, and we've got the Equal Time for Flat Earth story dropped from the National Center for Science Education. Holy crap, this is getting interesting. Give me a second. Let me get something to drink.
You do that. We'll just wait. We'll sit in silence and wait. It's cool.
Makes for
Now
stunning
it's
radio.
saying it's giving the public school the option to choose to teach either. But simply requires instruction in both scientific models if public schools choose to teach either. So if they want to teach one, they have to teach both. It says it does not require each individual textbook or library to give balanced treatment to the models of spherical Earth science and flat Earth science. It does not require any school's books to be discarded.
Well, I won't read the whole bill, but apparently Paul Ellwanger, head of Citizens for Fairness in Education in South Carolina, has promoted a model creation evolution bill to be introduced in state legislatures. That's interesting. My immediate reaction on seeing this bill was to rewrite it slightly. Who's this that's giving us this stuff? Hold on. Wow, I don't see a byline. Okay, there it is. Robert J. Shadowad. I apologize for my horrible pronunciation there. Okay, so he apparently, his reaction was to rewrite the bill slightly. It preserved most of the creationist wording, but altered the bill to require teaching of flat earth theory whenever conventional astronomy is taught. I sincerely believe that my bill should be introduced in every state legislature in which the creationist bill is introduced. In fact, I hereby volunteer to write a flat earth version of any creationist bill introduced anywhere if only someone will introduce my version. The parallels between flat earthism and creationism are numerous and precise. Literal interpretation of certain parts of the Bible is a motivating factor for modern flat earthers. And they have an elaborate system of scriptural science, just as do the creationists. The flat earthers of 19th century England had a skilled corps of lecturers who preached and debated. Because opponents were frequently unprepared for the ingenious arguments of the Universal Zetetic Society, the Flat Earth Organization, the Flat Earthers usually won the debates. Lecturers from the San Diego-based Institute for Creation Research use the same debate tactics and enjoy the same success. My Flat Earth bill is zetetically correct and accurately describes the Flat Earth theory. It is not really a parody, and it's impossible to parody something ludicrous. What are we reading? No doubt bills could be drafted demanding equal time for astrology, Mary Baker Eddy's Christian Science Theory of Disease, or von Daniken's Ancient Astronauts. Yeah, it was starting to taste bad early on. This would be a useful pastime for specialists in these areas who, like me, want to make it plain to legislatures and the public the absurdity of creationists' legislation. So this apparently is not what we thought it was. And then there is a bill which is lengthy and jargonistic, so I don't want to read through it.
But 1981, you know, they were, at least then still, they were pushing to have flat earth around. I haven't heard a lot talked about flat Earth. You know, in the 80s, 90s, it was kind of, you know, it was big in the 60s, and then NASA came out, and flat Earth was kind of like shelved as being a topic anymore. And I didn't hear any about it really being debated throughout the 70s and 80s or 90s, and then it kind of had its revergence. But this is great. Somebody actually in politics trying to get flat Earth pushed in 1981. Yeah, mind blown. I can't believe this is the first time I'm hearing about it. Good catch, Tommy.
It's cold out there. I think it's going to snow today.
Yeah, it is. I'm just rereading this again, making sure I didn't misread it. Apparently, I need to go back again.
Yeah, I'd only found the one article. I haven't really super searched it. But somebody, you know, was trying to do it in the 80s. And they're talking about the debates that were going on in the 80s and how flat earthers were destroying. I mean, I'm sure it was the exact same conversations that we're having today.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that they were talking about it in the 60s.
Oh, yeah, it was huge. We found a NASA document that mentions the flat earthers. This will shut those flat earthers up. And it was the first rocket pictures, something like that. Or one of the pictures they took, it was before Apollo, but when they were sending rockets up and taking pictures, after the 40s when they first started doing it. Yeah, early 60s. But the article or the document mentioned, yeah, this will really shut those flat earthers up and something like that. I'll have to see if I can find that again. But yeah, it was a big debate before NASA. You know, just 60 years ago, it was a hot topic. And then when NASA came out showing pictures of a round ball, that was it. You know, for so many people, that was just the nail in the coffin.
Are you looking at chat? Pete Harlan in chat says he was expelled from the roughest school in his town, sent to a boarding school for talking about the flat earth and lost history. He was 13 in 1974.
Wow.
Nice. Go, Pete.
Well done.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, you know, just because we've been told that, it goes to show how much has been hidden from us. I had a lady at work. She said, you know, her dad had already passed. I never had a chance to speak with him, but she said till the day he died, he always said the earth was flat. NASA was full of shit. They were lying. The Bible was correct. And he believed this his whole life. And it had not a whole lot to do with science. And then in the same area, there was a physics teacher. I didn't get to meet him either. He had retired the year before I moved out to the country. But part of his science class was, if you can give me one experiment to show that the earth is moving or round, you get an A in my class. You don't have to turn in any work. And that was like for every class that he did. And he taught over 20 years. But his thing was, if you can prove that you're on a globe, you get an A in my class.
So no one got an A?
No, not that way. Yeah, but I mean, and that's in a little hick county in Indiana, smallest population. 2 flat earthers, lifelong flat earthers. Right there. So yeah, there's probably a lot of them out there that, like Josh was saying earlier, they just don't even want to take the time to try to explain it to people and have the argument. They're like, yeah, I know. You know, I know what I know, and they can think what they want to think. I bet there's a lot of them out there, a whole lot of them.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I think that will.
Well, we're coming up on it. I think that's going to round it out, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you so
Love you
much.
guys.
Everybody check out LC King's channel on YouTube. And while you're at it, if you're not already, subscribe to Good Times for All, GUDTIMS, the number 4, ALL. This has been Josh, Walt, Zach, and Lucas hanging out with you on the Ironworks this morning on Truth Frequency Radio. Have yourselves a great weekend. We will see you right back here on YouTube tonight for another exciting episode of Have No Sphere. We love you. Be good. Be well. Bye-bye.